What is up, my people? Welcome into the vlog. We're going to get a 4-mile run in. I don't know if I've told the vlog this or not, and I'm on my phone, by the way. I don't know if I've told you guys this or not, but I'm training for my first ever marathon. We are officially 25 weeks out, so the training's going to start ramping up from here. Today we got 4 miles. It's Tuesday. Tuesday is always my easiest run. Saturdays are my long runs, and then either Wednesday or Thursday are my speed runs. I kind of choose depending on how I feel, but you guys are gonna join me for 4 miles today. Let's get it. And we're off. 4 miles. I hurt my hip the other day. It doesn't feel great, but we're gonna push through on this run. So let's get it. 1 mile, donezo. All right, we're 2 miles in. Hip is starting to hurt a little bit, but we're not gonna run pain-free on marathon day, so we are gonna push through. I love running the Lady Bird Trail in Austin. I've already seen 2 of my friends, always people running, amazing energy. Oh yeah, we're 3 miles done. Final stretch. I'm limping really bad. Probably gonna have to take a couple more days off. Fucking A, not what I wanted. All right, so finished the 4 miles. I'll tell you guys the story of how I hurt my hip. I'm a fucking idiot, to be honest. So I played flag football 2 weeks ago, completely destroyed my body. I had 11 miles on Saturday. I had to postpone that run, still got it done. Then the following week, I got invited back to play back to play flag football, and I said yes. And then I hurt my hip. So I was running long for a ball. The guy underthrew it. I had to turn around, dive for the ball, and when I got up, my hip was all jacked up, and I pulled myself from the game. And that was Monday, Tuesday, Sunday, Saturday, Friday. That was 6 days ago, and still having hip pain. I looked it up. I think it's called a hip pointer, and it could take 1 to 3 weeks to heal. So my next run isn't until Sunday. So I got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I got about 4 days to rest up and hopefully recover. So we shall see. But wanted to take a second here, look at the beautiful city of Austin. I'll give you guys this view, check it out. This city in the morning is something special. I don't know what it is, there's like magic in the air, birds chirping, beautiful weather, the sun coming up over the buildings. Austin truly is a magical place. What's up, everybody? What's up to my future kids, Axel, Sky, or at least those are the baby names that we have right now. If you guys didn't know, for those that aren't my future kids that are watching this, I record these vlogs for 2 people. Actually, 3 people. One, I record them for my future kids, which if we had a boy and a girl, we've come up with our names. Axel would be the boy's name. Sky would be the girl's name. So if you're watching Axel and Sky, I do record these for you so that you guys can look back and learn from my life and hopefully make your life better than my life. Number 2, I record this for my 80-year-old self. Hopefully I live much longer than that. Fuck it, maybe for my 100-year-old self. For when I am retired and old, I would love to reflect back on my life and just watch the journey, watch the story unfold. And the third category of person that I film it to, and don't feel slighted by this, you are the third category, is anyone else who wants to tune in on the journey. I want to do big things with my life. I want to do extraordinary things with my life. I want my life to be an example of human excellence. I want my life to be inspiration to thousands, hopefully one day millions of people, to lead a good life. I want to be a good human. I want to excel in all areas of life, in my marriage, in my spiritual life, my connection with God, and my fitness, in my career. And I do feel that lifestyle where you're dedicated, you're focused on being the best person you can be. I do feel that that's rare these days. I do feel that majority of people, are living in the moment, living to have fun, living to enjoy, or they're numbing, or they're just numbing themselves with alcohol, with scrolling, with drugs. And I don't see a lot of people focusing on trying to be the best that they can. So those are the three people that I filmed these vlogs for. This particular vlog, I'm very excited to record this one because last year, and honestly, when I really reflect and I look back, I would say the past 2 years, I was in a massive funk. I lost my edge. I lost my swagger.
This year, the business has not been profitable because of all the challenges and the turbulence that we've been going through.
And yeah, I feel like a failure. I feel overwhelmed. I feel, like a fucking failure, if I'm being honest. It's been a frustrating day, and I'm not trying to make this particular episode just complaining, but sometimes, like I said, sometimes you just eat fucking shit. What I want to talk about in this vlog is how to get your swagger back, how to get your edge back. You know, we are, how many months into the year are we? We're almost 5 months into the year, and really this year is a massive reset for me. As you guys know, I'm building a new business. I'm really doubling down on personal development and the things that got me to where I was at my pinnacle of success. And yeah, this year is really about getting my swagger back. It's about getting my edge back. And 5 months into the year, I feel that I've made significant progress. And I have 3 talking points in today's vlog. And if you're in that position right now, you're trying to get your edge back, you're trying to get your swagger back, I hope that this video helps. All right, I'll see you in the next clip. I just want to say, y'all, I'm proud of myself. Starting to get the arm vein back. Legs are looking defined. I'm proud of the work I'm putting in, man. I really dedicated this year to getting back in shape, getting my edge back, and I know that's the theme of today. I just want to say it feels fucking good. That's not a point. I have 3 points that I'm going to talk to you guys about today, but it just feels fucking good to get your edge back. You look good, you feel good. Life is just so much freaking better. All right, so just got back from the gym. I actually am leaving for a trip tomorrow. I'm going to, some people might hate that I'm saying this, but I'm actually going to Mar-a-Lago, which is Donald Trump's house. I'm like jaw dropped that I'm attending this event. It's a Patrick Bet-David sales event. This is the first and only business event that's been held at Mar-a-Lago. I had to get like a background check, the whole 9 yards. And I'll be heading there tomorrow. The business event is Thursday and Friday. And honestly, I'm nervous, man. I think there's going to be some heavy hitters there. I think there's going to be some big names there. There's a lot of networking opportunities. I'm excited to be in the mix and hopefully to meet some new people. That's a big part of getting my edge back this year is networking, expanding my friendships, and being social. Being social is actually not something that comes easy to me. It's something that is, it's harder for me. So this is going to be an opportunity that challenges me, which I'm excited for. Man, there's so many nuggets. I haven't even gotten to my first points yet. And I just dropped a bomb right there, which is if you want to get your edge back, challenge yourself, put yourself in uncomfortable situations. Before we're about to get into a point here in just a second, but I just got asked the craziest shit at the gym. So I just got a back day in, as you guys know, ran this morning. Reason I did that is I think I was just saying, I'm going on a trip, so I wanted to get an extra workout in. But when I was in the gym down there were 2 females and a trainer. And this is just a funny coincidence, but the trainer was a client of my former company where I helped personal trainers move their business online. I guess he didn't move his business online, but he was a client of ours in 2020, so 5 years ago, which is insane. He came up to me, introduced himself. And first of all, I just love that. I love the in-person connection. It makes you feel like you're making a real difference. But he was training these two girls, and one of the girls came up to me and said, I want to ask you a question. It doesn't matter how old the guy is, 20, 30, 60, 80, they can always answer this question. What is the name of the first fully developed female when you were growing up? Grade school, could be elementary school, middle school, but what was the girl to first get boobs, to first have her period? And within seconds, probably took me 10 seconds, I knew the name. Elena Smith was her name. And she laughed and she said, yep, never fails. Never fails. The guy can always answer that question. And I just thought that was hysterical. All right, let's get into point number one here, okay? So point number one, it's kind of 3 points in one. I didn't make them 3 separate points because I think they all tie into one another. All right, so I wrote these down. All right, so I'm going to start here. Sometimes you only know that you had your edge when it's gone. And I realized this when I lost my edge. When I lost my edge, I was like, holy shit, I had my edge. I actually had it. Like, that was my edge. And sometimes we need to lose it to know what it feels like. Because I think a lot of times as high achievers, like naturally type A people that grind and go, sometimes we don't know what having the edge feels like. Sometimes we're numb to it. Sometimes we're oblivious to it because it's our natural instinct. But when we lose it, then in hindsight, we know what it feels like. So sometimes you only know you have your edge when you lose it. So you can view losing your edge as a positive perspective, saying, well, now I know what it feels like. So when it comes back, I could be a lot more grateful for it. I can honor it. I can respect it. And you could truly actually gauge and measure your edge, right? You can know if you're dialed in, dialed out, halfway dialed in. I think it gives you a whole new perspective. So there is some gratitude there for losing your edge. Okay, now the next point that I wrote down here, like I said, they all kind of tie together. But the feeling is fleeting. It comes and goes. So when you have your edge, it's fleeting. It comes and it goes. And I think a lot of people misunderstand this. I bet you there's some people who are listening to this, some people who are watching this right now, who are just in like a feeling of not having your edge, right? Having your edge is not a feeling. Having your edge is what results you're actually creating. So you might have a misinterpretation. You might say, well, I don't feel like I have my edge. Yeah, you might not feel like it, but you might actually still have your edge. If you're still showing up to the gym, if you're still showing up for your husband or wife, if you're still showing up for your career, if you're still showing up for your personal development, if you're still showing up for God in your spiritual life, if you're still doing the things, but you just don't feel like you have your edge, you still have your edge because you're actually doing the work. Having your edge is not a feeling. It is a result. All right, the last kind of sub point within this overall point here is the actions need to come before the feeling. All right, so I know I'm kind of contradicting what I just said. Obviously, you can still feel like you have an edge, right? There's a confidence to it. There's a swagger to it. There's a proudness to it, right? But the actions come before the feeling. So if you're somebody right now who is trying to get your edge back, right? You're probably like, I just don't feel like I have my edge. I don't feel like I have my edge. Like, why don't I feel like I have my edge? It's because you're not doing the actions. The actions come before the feeling. You might have to put in months of work to feel like you have your edge back. Like I said, I'm 5 months into this year and I feel like I have my edge back, but I didn't feel that way in January. I didn't feel that way in February. I really started feeling that way. I probably started hitting my stride, I would say like within that 60 to 90 day mark is when I start feeling like I had my edge back. But I had to do the actions. I had to go sober. I had to, start training for a marathon. I had to work out consistently. I had to tune up my diet. I had to get closer with my wife. I had to get closer to God. I had to do all these things. Excuse me. I had to take all these actions before I could feel like I had my edge back. So that's one overall point with some subcategories. Let's go through it one more time really quickly. Sometimes you only know you have your edge when it's gone. So be grateful that you lost it because now you know what it feels like. All right. The feeling of having your edge is fleeting. So when you do have your edge, right, the feeling of that comes and goes. But having your edge is not a feeling, it's a result. So as long as you are putting in the work, you still have your edge, even if you feel like you don't. All right. And then the last point in this category here is the actions need to come before the feeling. If you want to get your edge back, you have to put in the work before you could feel like you have your edge back. All right, we got 2 more points left. The remaining points are a lot more tactical. I kind of talked high level here, but the next points are a lot more tactical on how to get your edge back. All right, let's do it. All right, this is one of those points where it's not actually on my list, but like I talked about before, I invested in an event to go to, and it made me think, how much have I invested this year into myself in terms of like improving myself? So let's add it up. I've spent $9,000 on a health coach at the beginning of the year. And it wasn't just health coaching. It also was, getting my blood drawn, peptides, the whole 9 yards. $750 on a gut test, $200 on the 10X Growth Con ticket, plus $2,000 for the stay to go to that event, like the airport or the airline ticket and the hotel. $7,000 for a Patrick Bet-David sales event. $2,000 for the stay, $10,000 for an Andy Elliott event ticket, $2,000 for the stay. So that has me so far this year, large investments into myself. I've bought in supplements and little things like that, but large investments into myself, $32,950 so far this year. And I don't say this to brag. I'm saying this because I haven't been doing this, and I truly feel this is a big part of why I'm getting my edge back. All right, y'all, we're at the pool at my apartment complex. Now that it's starting to get sunny out, I want to get tan this year. I'm usually very pale, very white. I'm an Englishman, a Frenchman. My name is Chandler William Molyneux. I'm as white as they freaking come. But this year, I will be a crispy tan. Now, unfortunately, we have some clouds in our way. But yeah, basically the past couple days I've been breaking up the workday around 4 o'clock. I'll come out here for an hour, and then from 5 to 6:30, I'll wrap up work before I have dinner. Here's everyone's favorite puppy. Say hi, Mila. Hi to the vlog. Hi guys, I just ate dinner. Now I'm looking out the window and barking at people who are out there because they're not supposed to be out there. That's my turf. That's mine. It's all mine. All right, y'all. Let's get into point number 2. All right, so like I said, we're gonna get more tactical now. So if you are an individual, or if you're one of my kids watching this and you're going through a rough patch, you've lost your edge, you've lost your swagger, right? Here is a great place to start. A great place to start is to identify. So what I wrote down here is identify buckets, create items, track 5 out of 7 days a week. So I'm a huge proponent of routines. I'm a huge proponent of game plans, of strategies. And here's a good place to start. Identify 4 buckets. Okay, so work-life balance, I believe, is a myth. Okay, that's my belief, and what I believe is that we only have so much water that we can give in a day. So with that being said, we need to identify 4 buckets that we are going to distribute that water between. All right, these 4 buckets are 4 areas in your life that matter to you the most. Okay, so to make this simple for me, it's health and fitness. Okay, it's personal development.
it's relationships, and then from there it's spirituality. So those are my 4 areas. Those are my 4 buckets. Those are the 4 areas that I'm giving time to in a day. So the bucket is the area, the water is my time, right? I'm not going to have an even distribution of time in all areas, but I am going to make sure that every single bucket does get water or time every single day. So identify what are the 4 most important areas in your life. Okay. Then I want you to create a routine around those areas. So for me, I wake up, I go to the gym, check off the health and fitness bucket. Okay. Career is one of my buckets. Spirituality actually goes in with personal development. So it's career, it's relationships, it's fitness, and it's personal development. Personal development / spirituality. Okay, so I wake up, I go to the gym, right? You guys know my routine. I'm doing my personal development when I'm back. And then from there, I work on my career. And then when the day's over for me around 6, I spend time with my wife. And then on the weekends, I'll give other relationships that are important to me time and attention as well. All right, so create a routine where at the end of each day, you can say that you poured water or time into each of the 4 buckets that matter to you. All right, now you want to be consistent with that routine 5 out of the 7 days a week. All right, so it could be Monday through Friday. It doesn't have to be Monday through Friday. Just 5 out of the 7 days a week, you're going to be consistent with that routine. And if you do that and you stack wins week in and week out, week over week, week over week, week over week, I promise you, you're going to start to feel that you have your edge back. All right, I got one more tip for you, probably the one that I struggle with the most, and we'll get into that in just a bit. All right, a little bit of a weird dinner. We got sweet potatoes, we got ground beef, we got 2 slices of pepper jack cheese. I'm gonna squirt a little organic ketchup on it, and then we're gonna call it a day. Tip 4 or 3 coming up. Wow, all right, as the day goes on, I'm getting stuffier and stuffier. My nose, I feel like I can't even smell. All right, this is my last point. You're trying to get your edge back. You're starting to get some momentum. All right, you're starting to do good. All right, as high achievers, we have a very hard time with this, myself included, and this is one that I've gotten really much better at this year, but it's celebrate, have fun, recognize, acknowledge. Now, don't do this when you're just getting started, right? Like I said, actions come before the feelings. But when we start building some momentum, I'm talking about a couple months of momentum, at least 60 days of momentum, and we're crushing it. We're starting to feel like we have our edge back. I want you to have a little fun. I want you to celebrate that. I want you to acknowledge that. I want you to be proud of yourself. Now, that can come in many shapes and sizes, right? That can come as, hey, I'm going to take, a day off and I'm going to go do a day trip. That could be, I'm going to celebrate with a margarita. I'm going to take myself out to dinner. I'm going to do whatever. You choose, right? Up to you. But I want you to do it. All right, and that's something, like I said, that I've gotten significantly better at this year, is acknowledging my wins, being proud of myself, recognizing that I'm making progress, that I'm getting better, and celebrating it, having fun with it, right? As high achievers, and I'm speaking for myself here, we're very stiff, we're very uptight, it's not enough, let's just keep plugging away, and we have a hard time, I just say dinner. We have a hard time acknowledging our progress, acknowledging that we're making strides. But there's no secret formula for it other than just being cognizant, being aware, being intentional with recognizing that you are making progress. And it's okay, it's as simple as just saying it. I am making progress. I'm getting better at this. Wow, that's a victory. That's a win. If you do want something really tactful, at the end of the day, you can make it a habit to write down 3 things that you're proud of from that day, 3 victories from that day, 3 acknowledgments from that day of progress. If you have a significant other, you live with somebody, you can make it you can even lend a helping hand. You can make it a routine with them. You ask them what their 3 wins are for the day, you share your 3 wins, right? But my last point is, when you start getting your edge back, you start making progress, celebrate, have fun, recognize, acknowledge. All right, y'all, that's the end. If you found this helpful and you haven't subscribed yet, please make sure you do. Join the journey. Give it a little thumbs up. Leave a comment. I truly don't do this for money. I really just do this because I want to document my life. As my bio says, selfishly, I'm doing this for my future kids and my 80-year-old self. So hopefully it helps my kids when they grow up and they can watch this. Hopefully it's fun to reflect back on when I'm 80 years old. The best way that you can support the channel is just to share it with a friend, subscribe, like, and comment. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.